based off people that I knew. So personally, I've always liked the power of electricity. It's, you know, you're quick, it's deadly, things of that nature. But I wanted to give each person a power that would cater to their specific personality. So Christian, who has the power of fire, he's very impulsive. He doesn't really think before he lunges into action. He just wants to fight and have a goof around and things like that. And then Dimitri, he's the rock of the group. He has an incredible defense. He doesn't really play around. He's like stone-faced, things of that. So we gave him earth powers, and so on and so forth. Tori is she's an airhead, hence she has air powers. So that's kind of what we stuck with. And there are other characters, other humans in the book who have kinetic abilities. There's magnokinesis, which is the power to control magnetism. And someone has gravitokinesis, which is the power to control gravity.
Don't forget gyros.
Yeah. We have a YouTube channel where we actually make these character bio videos. And during the process, Laz was having a lot of trouble with one of the characters who controls gravity because he kept saying gyrokinesis, which is, you know, the ability to control things that can gyrate and things like that. But he said gyros. So apparently she can control gyros.
You have to see the blooper reel.
Yeah.
You have to see the blooper.
We have a blooper reel.
You can't describe a blooper reel.
Gyros is a food, so
no.
she can. Laz kept saying that she can control food.
Well, she's hungry.
That was incorrect. So.
She's kind of hungry.
Yeah. We had a lot of laughs throughout this whole process. It's been
especially writing the book. Especially writing the book. Just we became such good friends that like we just kid around about everything, and just writing came natural to us. Really.
Surprisingly enough.
We would just sit in his apartment or at my house, and we would just start writing a scene. Like, how do you want this scene to look? Like, all right, I want this to happen. Like, all right, I'm on it. And we would just order Chinese food and just laugh all day.
Yeah.
And it was really great writing the book. I
Bouncing
couldn't ask for a better partner.
Laz is great. Laz is a great friend. And some of the best times were actually kind of kidding around because when we wrote these characters, in our minds they almost became real. Like we would talk about if a character would do that in real life, even though they're not real. Like, no, I don't think Christian would do that. But
He's our character, so we can make him do it.
Yeah, it's weird.
But we decided that he couldn't do it because it wouldn't be him.
Yeah.
We believe these characters are real.
They could be.
Even though they're not.
Somewhere.
We know they're not. But we made it so believable that you could really fall in love with any one of the characters.
Yeah.
So we really cater to pretty much anybody out there. There's someone for everybody. It's kind of like the Ninja Turtles. Like to reference something, you know, you got the leader, you got the loner, you have the comic relief, and then you have the tech head.
Yeah.
And we kind of cater to that, really. Everybody loves the Ninja Turtles.
To compare it to something, I mean, take the best parts of Avatar: The Last Airbender, the best parts of the I Am Number 4 series, the Planeteers, because they all have elemental powers, and you kind of get our book. We try to take what's right from those stories and leave out what's wrong. So that's what we're going with. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Some of the other questions that we received from people that weren't able to make it tonight, they wanted to know, like, when did you first want to be a writer? Personally, I never thought to be a writer. I don't even like to read all that much. I'm gonna share that with you.
I really don't like to read.
Yeah, I've been forcing Laz to read books, but I never truly wanted to be a writer. We originally wanted to make Kinetic into an animated series, and from there maybe have it adapted into film, but it's incredibly difficult to get it done with all the animation because we would need so many artists, so much time, and we just don't have that time. So we figured out that if we can make this book very possible and popular with, I don't know, just around the nation, that hopefully it will be picked up by someone, some production company.
When I decided I wanted to be a writer is when we couldn't do the TV show and everything, and pretty much the book was the last option to make this publicly known.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's pretty much what we're doing. Another person wanted to know if you could have any kinesis, which would it be? I would have stuck with electrokinesis, or telekinesis is a pretty good one, the ability to move things with your mind. I just like powers that are quick-based, so that's me personally. I don't know what Laz would.
It would probably it's not necessarily kinetic power yet, but the ability to teleport. I think that's like the coolest thing in the world. You could be anywhere at any time, even in a fight situation. I can just teleport behind you and like hit you in the back of the head and you're done. You know, so I think teleportation would be the easiest and the best way to travel and like just to do anything. So I think I'd pick that for those who aren't.
Yes.
I do.
Questions?
So, do you guys expect to expand the characters, or do you have a limit of how many characters as far as heroes you want to add to this?
Really good question. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Heroes that came on NBC a few years back. We really love that show too, and we think where they went wrong is that they introduced too many characters. There were too many sub-stories that you had to follow, and it just diluted from the actual storyline. And we are going to have more characters, because in the first book, we're not going to give any spoilers away, but some very important people get killed, murdered, brutally. So we have to kind of replace them. But in the second book, we're going to have a few more characters, but we're going to focus on really just Alex and his journey through fighting off these Zanaku.
Alex is our main character,
Yeah,
whether people like it or not, whether we like it or not. So we're really going to focus on Alex and everything like that. So we're going to add more characters, absolutely, because the bigger the better, they always say. So the more characters, the better. But it's always going to be through Alex's point of view. It's not going to be, we're not going to go away from that.
All right. How did you know which ones? How did they know they had their powers? I mean, just all of a sudden they woke up, boom, they got them.
Maybe you should read the book.
Yeah, if I read the book, I wouldn't ask that question.
No, they were born with these abilities.
And all of a
The
sudden
abilities,
just boom.
the abilities
was there?
kind of manifested with puberty.
Puberty.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
some of the characters have a better understanding of their ability. Some of the characters know nothing about it, except they know how to like spark a something. But I guess the older they are, the more known they have of their
So
the
Alex
abilities.
was able to find them.
With the help of the alien guide Shira, she
Okay,
has
so she's-
technology that's able to locate other
Okay,
people with
yeah.
It's the
abilities.
glory about
Like
writing about
X-Men,
aliens
you
and
know,
stuff.
with the thing.
Like Cerebro.
Cerebro?
Kind of.
Yeah.
More or less. More like less.
Like, yeah, but that's it.
Yeah, definitely. The first book is, as you might have guessed, it's an intro book. We have to introduce all the main characters. But now that that's out of the way, second and third book, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's just going to be
And when you
everything.
When are you going to start the second book?
When are we going to start the second book?
As soon as we get home today.
No, we've been taking down notes. Anything that we see that inspires us, or if we just have an amazing idea, that we'll just jot it down. And we have a lot of notes for the second book. We can already tell you it's going to be incredible. If you like the first book, I promise you're going to love the second
The
book.
second book is definitely going to be a roller coaster ride.
Yeah,
Definitely.
things like that. So, any other questions?
Why is on the second cover those things sticking out all over the body?
So,
I'm just curious.
with the first book, Alex, our main character, is on the cover. As you might have guessed, you see the
Yeah.
electricity pouring out of his eyes. We want to feature each main character on one of the books. So that cover that you saw tonight, that's not even done. That's only half the cover. So if you like that, it's actually going to
It's
get
more
better.
like a third. It's not even half.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot
There's a
in that
lot-
cover.
there's a lot of-
We're not going to make it too busy, but that character that you saw on the second cover, that is Christian. The one with the ability of fire. So he goes through a lot in the second book. He's a good guy, but he's faced with some very hard trials. And in the second book, he has to determine, is he going to remain a good guy, or is he going to kind of stray to the path of evil? So that's his inner battle in the second book. So that's why he has the black veins. It's kind of a metaphor for the evil that's possibly coursing through his veins. So that's why. Anyone else?
You guys have the humans and the three alien races. You expect to expand on the galaxy and
Yes, actually we do.
possibly the infrastructure.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple more alien races. Laz has some great ideas for which alien races we might be able to include in the second book. I don't know if you want to share with them.
Yeah. There's this one alien race called we dubbed them the Purex at the moment. We haven't really locked down the name yet, but we're fumbling around with different, because we don't want to introduce a lot of characters like we said before, but we want to introduce a lot more different abilities, because that's what our bread and butter of the book. It's the different abilities that come with it, and unlike other planets, Earth's one of the only planets that have multiple different kinesis. in the same planet. Like Karen, they have the ability of ligokinesis, which is the ability to produce a hard light, kind of like Green Lantern, and that's pretty much their only ability besides like telekinesis and telepathy. So we have to introduce other planets in order to get all those other kinetic abilities out. And how we do that is very interesting, but I'm not going to spoil anything. It's for the second book. You're just going to have to wait. But yeah, we're definitely going to introduce a lot more planets. There's they all come from the Renfari solar system. Yeah, we made up a solar system. And there's what, nine planets at least. There's a bunch of planets on there, most of which can inhabit life, and we're going to bring them all together sooner or later. Any other questions? Cliff?
Any mixing of abilities, kind of like in Avatar.
Mixing of abilities. You want to? Sure.
Yeah, in the first book, the Kinetic team learned that they're pretty much at their strongest when they help each other out. So we wanted to make a book that has science fiction, but it also makes a lot of sense. We can't tell you guys how much hours of research we've done on Wikipedia and all these things of that nature. So it's fiction, but it makes sense. Like these things, if there were people on this planet that had these abilities, everything that we wrote in the book could actually happen. So, for example, Alex, who has electricity, and Cassie, who has water, you know, they have kind of a love fling going on, but also their abilities don't really mix. Obviously, electricity and water don't go hand in hand, so we're not even thinking about babies. Not even thinking about babies right now. So, there are definite combos between the characters. Yeah, they create. For example, there's one that we want to talk about real quick. Tori, who has the ability of aerokinesis, so she can create wind. She can make tornadoes, whirlwinds, things of that nature. And Christian, who can do fire, they had the brilliant idea of making a flaming tornado. It has incredible destructive power. It took out a lot of enemies. So they combo up, and it becomes a deadly force.
We actually did research on that flaming tornado. I don't think there's a scientific term for it, but you would think that because a tornado produces a lot of wind, it would just blow out the flame. But actually what it does is it sucks it up and actually ignites it, and it fuels the fire in a way that the fire engulfs the entire tornado. So it's really cool to see. Unfortunately, it's a book, so you can't see it, but you can visualize it. I hope I helped visualizing it. But we actually, like Greg said, we did so much research on this book to make it sound realistic and to make like the incredible things that happen in the book actually be able to happen. So we definitely put the science in science fiction.
Without a doubt, once you read the book, you're going to learn something. By the end of the book, you're going to become a much smarter person. There's that. Any other questions? Don't feel